Hello and welcome to your planet Earth. Everything you ever cared about, eaten, laughed at, cried over, all originates here. Earth is your everything. Now, as you might know, we do not thrive alone. We depend on a system of services for us to survive. And the planet is no different. Every living thing provides a service, and just as you would not trust one farm to provide all your food, the Earth really relies on a variety of different living things working together to survive. We call this variety biodiversity. On a smaller scale, an ecosystem has a smaller support web of organisms, and these have all evolved alongside one another. Each organism has its role, and what this ensures is a sense of balance so that no one species gets all the food or all the space. Unfortunately, our biodiversity is under attack. While there are a number of processes that scientists think might have caused this, or be currently causing this, we're just going to focus on two today: pollution and invasive species. An invasive species is a species found outside of that native range where it evolved alongside other species and harms the new range it's found in. It usually does this by taking up more than its fair share of food or space. A 2008 study found that in places where over 25% of species are invasive, these places are also home to the highest number of threatened and endangered species. The same study also found that these invasive species hotspots are also far more likely to be impacted by human activities. Take a harbor, for example. Harbors are great hotspots for invasive species, but between things like boat traffic, pollutants like gasoline leakage, harbor can be a pretty rough place to make a living. Even so, many invasive species are very successful here. Let's take a look at the European green crab, originally found in the European Atlantic. It is now an invasive species on both coasts of the United States. I don't know about you, but this guy looks pretty successful. Scientists agree, and what they've also found is that in habitats where they're introduced in, they wreak havoc on the local system. So this is pretty impressive. As we mentioned earlier, an ecosystem has that balance. There's really not extra food and there's really not extra space. So how does an invader get in? This is where our other topic comes into play: pollution. So when pollution enters a system, what it does is it makes, could possibly make the an organism a little bit less effective at its role. And what this does is it maybe frees up some food or some extra space, creating a hole for the invasive species to fill. Now, you might be thinking, there's a major gap in your thinking, Catrin. And you'd be right. I mean, don't most marine species get here on a boat? And that would make sense why harbors and marinas are hotspots of invasive species. We're looking at that. In 2011, a controlled study which removed the effect of invasion likelihood found that when introduced to a pollutant, native species reduced their abundances by about 40%, whereas invasive species were not affected at all. So what this really suggests is that pollution creates a hole for the invasive species to fill. So what are we going to do about this? We know that we love our Earth, everything that we care about comes from here, and that our Earth depends on biodiversity, which is in decline. What we're starting to find out is the processes that cause this decline are far more interconnected than we first thought. For example, pollution makes it a little easier for an invasive species to take hold. So how can you help? Whenever you see a beach cleanup, a harbor cleanup, join. You might be surprised to find that not only did you make your local beach a little cleaner, but you might have also helped that system reject an invader. Thank you.